Hello, it's finally here. Everything the sporting world has been waiting for. An all sports YouTube show featuring the most respected names in sport, entertainment and social. This week, Finn Russell on how he's even better this year, Joe Launchbury on the true meaning of his nickname Sloshbucket, and Aki talks us through the toughest fortnight of his life. This is Hits Different. Right guys, before we get to our first guest, let's meet my co-host of Hits Different every week, former England international, Gloucester legend, looks good on camera as well. It's Mark Atkinson, everybody.
Thank you, Dan, thank you. It is, I am buzzing to be here, and that is a very generous intro, but thank you very much, mate. Really
Aki,
excited.
in all seriousness, it's great to see you looking healthy and well. We will get onto that a little bit later. But you're all right?
I'm good. We'll get onto it.
You look great, mate. You look great. Right, let's meet our proper first guest. This guy, giant of the game, legend of the sport, 65 caps for England, 6'6" and almost 20 stone of destructive force and power, all with the lovable demeanour of the honey monster. It's Joe Launchbury, everybody.
Look at you. Thank you. Hey, welcome on, launchers.
Good to be here, thanks for having me.
So it's the launch show of It's Different. Who could we get other than...
Could have been anyone, couldn't it?
Could have been anyone.
Anyone in world
Lots
sport.
of people ringing saying, can I be the first guest? But no, the launch show is Mr. Launchbury.
Or was it just who could we get?
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. The reach this man's got, it could have been anyone.
We're going to start off with the question we're going to ask all of our guests. Who is your GOAT of all time, any sport you want?
I think when you probably think about who maybe growing up would be thought your sporting hero, probably comes from maybe the ages of teenage years, I'd say, wouldn't it normally? So mine would probably be your 2000s. Obvious ones in rugby would be some of the 03 guys. I love my cricket as well, so maybe some of the guys who won the Ashes series there, so maybe like your Flintoff or someone, but I should go for someone who probably, I don't think anyone else would probably say is their GOAT, but mine would probably be Andy Johnson. I'm a big Crystal Palace fan, so yeah.
It was never going to be normal, was it?
No.
It was never going to be a normal one.
So yeah, Crystal Palace striker, Andy Johnson.
Awesome. I think he does live nearby, so maybe we could...
Have you ever...
Could get him on the show,
Have
maybe.
you met him before?
I've not met him, no. Not met him.
Okay.
What if you found out that he was a big Wasp/Quins fan? Would that make your day?
I'll be very surprised, yeah.
Launchers, going into your second year at Quins, straight as a man who's spent his whole career at Wasps, firstly, how did you find it last year, transitioning back into the league?
Yeah, I think if I've probably been completely brutally honest, I was very comfortable where I was at Wasps, and I felt like it was going to be potentially where I was going to spend the rest of my career, really. I think obviously you can't, as a sportsman, as we all know, you can't look too far into the future, but if I was being brutally honest, that's probably what I saw my future to be. But obviously with what happened there, as sad as it was at the time, I sit here now sort of nearly 2 years on, so thankful for the opportunities I've had to go abroad overseas and to come back and play some, obviously firstly some great rugby on the pitch, but also be a part of an organisation who really care. I feel like my stage of my career, to have people off the field, I mean Danny will know a lot better than me, but the care around the club is unbelievable, and sort of I'm so thankful to be a part of it.
Joe, you were captain of Wasps at the time that all the sad circumstances that happened, and when the club folded, you'd moved your family up there, 3 young kids, wife. Like, just explain how much of a shock and a horrible feeling it was, and the whole experience of the club just one day suddenly going bust. Yeah,
I think shock, like the word shock, it was a shock. Looking back now, you probably think, should have it been such a shock? Should have we seen some more stuff? Should we understood what the severity of the situation really? But I think sitting here, honestly, we didn't really. We kind of knew the club clearly. Like a lot of teams in the league are obviously not in the best financial position, but we didn't think for one second that was going to be the case. I remember the night before we were actually having a bit of a social really with a few of the guys, and we knew the meeting was the next day, but we didn't think for one second it was going to be sort of news to that sort of level. And it was literally turning up to training, meeting. Yeah, I think that was the hardest thing. I think no one from the club really spoke to us that day. It was kind of the administrators came in and addressed the team. So, what was the lead up to that meeting? Were you the first club? No, Worcester was just before us.
Worcester.
Actually.
So were you in the stage where, if you already had a bit of knowledge on that, were all the rumours flying around? The pay's delayed, etc. Like what was the feeling going into that meeting?
We actually never got our pay. I think it might have got delayed by about 24 hours, which they said was an admin error, which I think is the classic line. But we had no reason to not believe that at the time, and that all the money was paid. There was obviously a lot of rumours. The CEO at the time, Stephen Vaughan, to be fair to him, did try and communicate as best he could with the players. I feel like he might have not known the full story as well. But yeah, it was a very uncertain time, and leading up to that day, obviously we knew what happened with Worcester, but we kept, I don't know, maybe you're kidding yourselves really, aren't you, looking back, but you kind of want to believe that you're in a different position. And I think we named a team for that weekend. We were preparing to play rugby that weekend. We'd named a team. I remember guys like Vincent Cott was going to play his first game for Wasps, never played. So he's a signed Wasps player but never played. I remember Manny Favourboso, he was going to start for us that weekend, and guys like that who could have gone on and played, someone like Manny and those guys, I feel for them could have gone on and played a whole career really at the club. And there's not really so much people like myself who, I'd had my amazing time at the club. I'd had 12 years. Yes, I felt a little bit sorry for myself, but for me it was more those sort of guys, a lot of young, you look at the talent across the Premiership at the moment, and a lot of those guys that come from Wasps, and I guess there's a few of them at Gloucester, a few of them all over the place really, and I guess that's maybe the bit that hits the hardest, that the work of, for 5-6 years before that, those young guys never got to come through and play for the club.
Oh, it's great. It's a sad time in rugby, but you, like you said, you've had opportunities to go abroad, take your family to new areas, and now you're back playing with this man, aren't you?
Lucky man, yeah.
What about that? Take us that full circle. Obviously, spent a long time together at England. You walk into a new dressing room when everybody establishes you, thinks of you in a Wasps shirt. Now you're wearing rivals' colours after being, what was it, let go from the academy there 15 years ago?
Yeah, too long ago, unfortunately. But yeah, obviously had a little bit of time there, and as a sort of a schoolboy really in the academy. Never really felt
big old schoolboy.
Huge.
Imagine that as a schoolboy.
I was actually a lot skinnier then, but maybe still quite big. But
face hasn't changed.
Not changed. I've never looked.
Who was it who let you go at Harlequins again? We used to give him a lot of stick.
Tony Dipro was the academy manager at the time.
Well done, Tony.
A club legend, but hopefully I've proved that
That's what he got wrong.
But yeah, I kind of never felt like that wasn't a big driver in my decision to go back. But what was a driver was I wanted to come, something I've never achieved in my career, and something I guess still a big reason why I'm still putting myself out there and playing now is to try and win the league, I guess. And it's obviously a big ambition. There's a lot of teams wanting to do it. I've got nearly there a few times, made a couple of finals, but I felt Quins could hopefully match that ambition. Like I said, it is a tough old thing to do, but that was a big part of it.
Give the old dog one more, yeah.
I can't tell you how nice it is to have Launch in the change rooms. Like, there's not many old lads around in rugby anymore. Like, it's
happened in the league, don't it? You look around the squads.
We're filtering out, and there's 25 academy lads in every squad, and not many senior players. And to have you and Marla there it's given me a new breath of fresh air, Joe.
Well, I'm glad.
So thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to feel a bit. They do that birthday thing at Harlequins. You stand up in the chair and you ask a few questions. They got a guy up the other day, and the first question was, "How old would you be in 15 years?" And he said my age, and I was like, "Oh, brilliant."
People usually get energised by the youngsters coming in. You're getting energised by the 33-year-old.
100%.
Yeah, someone you can have a brew with.
Get rid of the youngsters. Mate, you've got years left in the tank, and something we talked about before is playing for England, and you've done it, as we said, 60 odd times. 70, was it?
Yeah.
How many was it?
70.
Was it 70?
Yeah.
So these stats are wrong.
Oh, I don't want
These are on a dodgy Wikipedia, I think. These have been pulled
we
from
went
somewhere.
65, it's actually 70. Well,
70,
we can
yeah.
sack James. Is that your research, James?
Just to confirm, I
don't count them, but someone else counts them.
If my Wikipedia says 1, it's actually 10 as
Right.
well. So they're both wrong.
So you're
just
10,
let someone,
right,
whoever's
okay.
got the stats, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You were 70, I was 200.
Yeah.
Joe, do you still harbour ambitions to play for England? Because I think you're 100%. You could still do a job in an England shirt.
It's hard because I feel like I think anyone who's still playing, no matter what age you are, I think if you're still playing, you want to play your best every weekend, don't you? You want to try and play as well as you can to be the best player you can be. And I guess that naturally leads itself to trying to perform and keep up with those guys. But in terms of myself, I didn't want to. I've not retired from international rugby. I didn't really feel it was a lot of guys have. You obviously yourself, and it came at a great time for you to do that. You were back in the shirt playing. I obviously had a bad knee injury, got pretty much back into the team, with just kind of getting back in, and then obviously was folded. I had some opportunity to stay in England and play in England straight away then, which probably would have definitely helped my sort of England chances to get into that World Cup squad. But it didn't feel right for me and my family. The idea of being at a different Premiership club within sort of 10 days of Wasps folding felt pretty quick. I was still pretty emotional about it all. So for me, the opportunity to go and take myself completely out of it, why that's the best thing for me and the family, it probably wasn't the best thing for the international career. And Steve was amazing with me through the whole process, and I was invited back into from the pre-World Cup squads, but unfortunately got injured in the summer training. So I guess it just wasn't meant to be, really. I've not officially retired from international rugby, but I'm very much
on that.
at peace with moving on.
If you say at peace moving on, I'll ask you this then. So you start the season playing like the launchers we expect to play, you're ripping up trees, you're doing what you do week in, week out, Quins are going well, and the autumns get picked. Is that what we call them still? The autumns? Autumns get picked, and you're not in that squad, but you're seeing players who you don't think have been playing as well as you. Are you sat at home frustrated by that then? Because if you can sit at home in peace going the next generation, then that's probably different. Is that how Deece feels now? I don't know, like,
yeah,
you sit there at home saying, that's someone else's shirt, I've done that. Whereas if you're sat at home going, I should be in there.
I think if they picked a guy my age, maybe I'll be feeling a bit different, someone new into the squad. But for me, we're pretty blessed. We always have been with second rows in the country, and I feel so fortunate to have played the amount of times I have with some of the quality we've had. There's a lot of great second rows who've not played at all, let alone played the amount I've played. So I feel so fortunate in that regard. And I also feel, again, like always in England, the talent of second rows is still there. And I look at the two guys at Leicester, Ollie and George, and I feel like, obviously alongside Mara, I don't even need to mention Mara in terms of selection, those guys are the future of the shirt, and enjoy watching them.
Who do you enjoy locking it down with the most?
I always really enjoyed playing with Courtney for a number of years. When I first came into the squad, guys like Jeff Parlin were amazing with me. So yeah, I've played with a fair few over the years, but maybe Courtney will probably be right up there.
It's a hell of a combination, wasn't it? The Laws, Launchbury.
Couldn't call a line out, but we could.
But you could whack.
Yeah,
whack
you could whack things.
And more.
Very hard. And last one from me, Joe. You got a few nicknames.
Yeah.
In the rugby circles. Bill Beaumont.
Yeah.
And Slosh.
Yeah.
Why do they call you Slosh?
Oh, I'd love to say I don't know, but I think Bill Beaumont was maybe a little bit unfair potentially, but Slosh was, I probably don't have the best gait. Is it gait? Walking style? I tend to sort of slide from side to side a little bit. We had a conditioner at England called Dean Benton who had these huge, another rugby phase. We had loads, you go through loads of them, don't you, in your career. They come in for a few months and they're gone again. You never see in a game, but we brought in these big water balls. It's like a ball you had to run with, and it obviously destabilise you when you run, and they were called slosh balls. And Dylan Hartley thought that looked like my arse, so he called me Slosh from then on. So, and unfortunately, like all great nicknames, it stuck. So
yeah. I think it went from Slosh to Sloshbucket.
But yeah, unknowingly, when I joined Quins last year, I thought I'll go in here with a bit of respect, hopefully. Got through a whole pre-season with you guys away at the World Cup of them calling me Joe or Launchers, which was nice. And day one, you came back and called me Slosh. So now it's kind of kicked right off again. So yeah, great. Thanks for that.
The Slosh is back. Guys, can we just put a round of applause for Joe Launchbury? What a man. What a man. Right, lads, we're going to go straight into this. And I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here because this weekend sees the return of Premiership Rugby. And I want you to both pick your one player for the subscribers and the watchers and the listeners, if you're listening. Who should they look out for this season? Who's going to have a standout year in the Gallagher Premiership?
I would say I'm intrigued by Sarri's post-Faz era with Burke coming in. He's a little bit like a Kiwi Faz anyway. He controls things well, he goes after things, he puts people in their place, and he wants to be in charge. So I'm intrigued by that. That's probably the best way to say it.
I like him. I played with him in the bar bars this summer, and he came over, and I am as excited as you are about him. I'm a bit nervous that Sarri's might be really, really good with him because I saw little glimpses of almost like a Bowden Barrett type character of run first mindset, takes the ball to the line, loves an offload, but can also control the game. So watch this space. Fergus Burke for Saracens. Joe, who are you going for?
I'll keep it close to home. I'll pick a Quins player. I feel like I guess a bit of a fraud saying it because I believe he was a big part of you guys winning the league a few years ago. So obviously very proven already, but injured a bit recently would be Jack Kenham.
Nice.
Still young, back row at our place. I think he's got a huge ceiling in terms of where he could get to in his career. Been pretty unlucky with injuries. I think he reminds me quite a lot of Jack Willis, both of the character, but also in his early career getting a few injuries. And I see a lot of potential for him to go on and have a great couple of years, especially this year.
I'm going to pick someone who, as you two know better than most, actually. He's been in the Premiership. He carved it up for years. He then went and tried NFL, and he's coming back to sign for your team, Gloucester, is Christian Wade. Also a big fan of the show. He's a fan of the show. He's a friend of the show. Wadey is sitting 5th on the all-time Premiership try scoring list, and he hasn't made any secret of the fact that he wants Ashley's record. He's coming back for the record.
How many's behind Ashley?
Ashley's on 101, Wadey's on 82.
You seem to know those numbers well.
Well, yeah, because
But I actually wouldn't put it past him because
There's a few people to chop off first, isn't there?
well, he's got to catch 4 first, Joe, hasn't he?
yeah, but either.
Is that you, Launchers?
I think I'm maybe
Fifth,
7th or 8th.
sixth.
I think.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
outside it.
Yeah.
Who's 4th?
Oh, I don't know.
Move swiftly on. If I don't know, 4th.
It's a lot of tries, mate.
When you play a lot of games, you might score a few. But
What do you reckon? Your old mate Wadey back?
I'm so excited to see him back. Firstly, I think amazing for the league.
What a character.
What an amazing for Gloucester in terms of a character, unbelievable human being, but also for the league to get him back in the league playing a game, so exciting. And people quite often ask who are some of the best players he played with, and he for me is right up there. I had the best seat in the house watching him play for a number of years. Admittedly, 50 metres behind him quite often. Go on, Wadey. Yeah, go on. And the game plan for a number of years was literally just give it to him. So,
do you know people don't know him, and boys before were like, oh, what's Wadey going to be like? Is he still got? And I was just like, just wait and feel that energy. Just wait, people. And boys love him already.
Great energy, but I think he's also clearly. It seems like what he's learned in America is how professional you've got to be, and it's to still be sort of training and competing as he is now. I think he's learned a lot in his time in America. Yeah, really excited to see him back.
Watch this space. Christian Wade back in the Gallagher Premiership. And now to our next guest. He is Scotland Rugby's answer to Lionel Messi. He talks it up off the pitch, but certainly backs it up on the pitch. He is Bath, Lions and Scotland legend, and probably one of the most exciting fly halves on the planet. It's an interview with Finn Russell.
Finn, I'm going to put you on the spot straight away. We're going to ask all our guests, who is the goatiest of the GOAT in terms of sport? Who is your ultimate all-time GOAT?
He's
thinking Finn Russell there, isn't he?
I don't know. Can I say myself now?
You can definitely say yourself. Yeah.
Let's say Tiger Woods. He was obviously so good, then had a lot of time out, and then came back to still win the tournaments and stuff. So I'll go with him.
He's also my GOAT. He's the ultimate GOAT, I think. But
2 seconds, my delivery arriving. That's my Nandos. Give me a second.
Perfect.
That's the great time, isn't it? What do we?
Look, you can't delay a Nandos. You can't. What's your order?
As a Nandos, so I get the Peritema chicken thighs with some halloumi, and then I quite like it with peas and corn. It's very healthy. That's usually my order, but because it's a Sunday, I went for garlic bread and chips.
Your sort of famous style as a player, your sort of being a maverick, if you call it, vision, freedom, heads at rugby. How, just touching on rugby, how much of that do you reckon is planned? How much of that is planned? How much of that is the things go into it in the week that give you the freedom to play like that? If you can explain your sort of style in a way.
Yeah, I think when I first came to Bath, obviously with Johan being a coach, I didn't know him, and kind of how Munster played. There's a lot of sort of kicking the ball and defending, and I spoke to him, just said, how do you want to actually play this next couple of years? And he was in the same mindset as me. He's like, we're going to be like, we're going to exit when we need to exit and kick when we need to kick, but if it's on, I want us having a go and taking teams on, and then having Lee Blackett in there, he's been really good as well. Also the players that they've recruited. So for me, it's kind of like you do a lot of the work through the week, preparing for every sort of game that you play. As you boys will know, every week you preview the opposition to try and think where the chances could be. But then at the same time, Johan kind of gives us that freedom where if there's something on that hasn't been previewed, we're going to take it. We're going to have a go and try and execute that. So it's probably a mix of both, like myself and other players just seeing what's on at the time, but then having a preview of what the defence and the team that you're playing, whether it's Quins or Gloucester, whatever we've seen in their defence through that week, how you can kind of manipulate that and try and find these pictures that you've seen, but sometimes it can just be off the cuff and just someone creating something.
Finn, on the back of that, how important is it, have you found, to have that coach-player relationship where you trust each other? And which coaches have you worked for that you really felt like you had the best relationship and you felt the most trusted on the pitch?
Yeah, I think it is important, especially as a 10. You want to go onto the pitch knowing that you're on the same page as the coach, and you've got his, like you say, his confidence, his trust that if you do try something that doesn't come off, that he's not gonna drop you for the next 3 weeks because of it, or whatever it is, So I've had a few coaches like that who have been really good. Like Johan's one of them. I think I've got a really good relationship with him and with Lee and other coaches here at Bath. In the past, Vern Cotter, he was probably the first coach that I came across that was he was trying to push the confidence in all the players so that the players would go out onto the pitch and be able to express themselves. And his big belief was, if you see something and try and execute it and go for it, I'm happy with that as long as there's like a reason behind it. A reason behind the decision, but if you don't execute it, then it's on you if the skills aren't good enough for you. It's, if a prop's trying a crossfield kick, it might be the right decision, but he can't actually execute it, let's say, depending who they are. I'd back Big Ben Tamafuna to hit a crossfield kick, but I don't know which other tight head props are back. But that kind of thing, if you can execute it, then I'm not against you trying it, as long as the reason for you trying it is the right one, which was good. And then other guys in France, I was probably slightly more isolated in France because I didn't fully understand the language when I first got there, so I couldn't really understand what the coaches were saying, and that sort of relationship. I got on well with them, but I didn't have that personal kind of relationship until Mike Prendergast came in, who's an Irish coach, but he would translate for us, and I had a good relationship with him. And like I say, here now at Bath, it's been really good. And with Gregor, like, we've been up and down, but when we're good, we've got that good relationship, and we're both on the same page. But I think it's just something that some players are different, I suppose. Like, there's maybe younger players coming through, depending on how they get coached. That kind of confidence and self-belief could almost get coached out of them a little bit, I think. So I think having a young player coming through is, well, me as like a more experienced, and I'm trying to give the younger boys at Bath confidence and helping them out as much as I can. And in terms of if mistakes are going to happen, I make mistakes, obviously, quite a lot more than most probably. But that's not actually the issue. It's more like what are you looking for and what are you seeing for the mistakes to then happen? Are you even seeing the right picture? Are you finding the right pass, the right kick, whatever it is,
I think you've given a breath of fresh air to the Premiership. And I saw a little highlights package, and it was a preview of this season, and loads of the clips were of you having fun with a smile on your face, trying things. How much are you enjoying the Premiership, and how high a standard of Finn Russell have we seen, or is there even more to come? Where do you put your ceiling?
No, I've loved it so far. I think when I was chatting to you the other day, I kind of said it's an exciting kind of tournament here because it's long enough that you've got to perform well, but you've got to kind of manage players, the teams, and everything as the season goes on. But it's not it's not like the top 14, which is an extra 8 games where it's like a marathon. This is more, I think I said, like an 800 meters where it's a sprint, but it's like a sprint endurance kind of thing.
Yeah.
Must be because the Olympics are on. That's the sort of terminology I'm using now. So
I like that. Yeah.
yeah, but it's kind of like an 800 where you've got a sprint, but you've still got to kind of manage a few things as you go. But whether you get out quick or you come strong late at the end of the season, like, there's parts that can make a big difference. So I'm loving that kind of competition side of the tournament, but also all the teams are so competitive with each other. So many teams could have qualified last year for the top 4, which shows that no matter who you play, where, if it's home or away, you're going to be challenged. I think for last year, I was kind of just trying to fit in with the boys. I probably didn't try as many things as I normally would have because I was kind of still just fitting into the team. I still tried things, but a lot of the time there's a few crossfield kicks that I could have hit and I kind of probably pulled back a little bit. But I think the game plan and the style of play over here is slightly different to France. In France, like, they want it to be a little, well, jouer is what they all say, obviously. So they want a bit of that. They want you to try cross-field kicks and have a go. Whereas I feel here in the Premiership it's about finding a little bit more control and more balance in the game. So I was trying to fit into that. Not fit into it, but sort of adapting and getting used to the style of rugby here in England compared to France. But I think just as time goes on, the more I got used to the boys, the more that they got used to me, what I was looking for, what they were looking for. We're getting more on the same page. But I think as your career goes on, like the more you're known as a player, the less you can almost do because everyone knows what's coming to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you boys think whenever you preview Bath or whatever it is you'll be thinking. Let's say for me, you've got a short kicking game, he's going to try and pass, he'll offload it, he'll try this. Read the stuff that I used to do 10 years ago is now kind of covered off and everyone knows it's coming. So it's kind of trying to find a way to put that in, but without looking for it too much. So half the time it's just kind of giving it to the other boys and trying to give them confidence to hit that crossfield kick or hit that pass because they might not expect it from the 12 or the 15 or whoever it is. So it's probably a different style that I'm sort of playing, but not in a. I'm not deliberately changing because I'm getting old. It's more just how can I try and get the same outcome but doing it a different way.
Lads, great to hear from Finn there. Joe, for you, what makes Finn such a brilliant talent?
I think obviously he's so unpredictable in what he does, but I think also the boring side of what maybe doesn't get talked about enough is I feel like his actual game management is honestly so good. The highlights are just him running it and offloading, but he really controls the game. We've had games against him last year at Bath and he'll kick the corners unbelievably well, put you under loads of pressure, make it so hard for you to get out. So yeah, I think he is genuinely like the all-round package.
Yeah, he is the most relaxed character. You saw that when he answers the Nandos calls 2 minutes into the interview, and he's rocking his newborn baby to sleep mid-interview. I think he just takes everything in his stride. But I think, like you're right, Joe. People don't see the nitty-gritty stuff that he does to allow the magic, and he's a person that people pay to see, and you love to watch him play. This is a long way ahead, but we're going to do a bit of a Lions watch here on Hits Different. If you were picking a team right now, would Finn Russell be wearing the number 10 jersey in your Lions team?
Your mate have something to say about that, mightn't he?
He might do.
I'd say the beauty of them two, and I'm putting them two.
So you're talking Finn and Marcus Smith?
I am. The feel would be similar. You know, you've got that moments of magic, but you've also got this calm head that can do it all. And so if you were picking a squad of 23, I know that's sitting on the fence, if you could have one starting, one on the bench, and the feel of that squad might be, you've got people who can do a bit of both, I reckon. But them two would be my two at the moment.
I say someone like Fordy as well. I'd add another English guy into the mix. He's, I believe I'm right in saying, never quite made it, but been desperately close. And I'm sure he'll be doing everything he can to try and get himself involved as well. I feel he'll be right up there.
You've also got a guy who's wearing that blue and white shirt.
Is he allowed? Do you know what I was thinking? Is he allowed to be picked?
Who is allowed to be picked, and his dad's the coach. So
he's got half a chance, hasn't he?
He's got half a chance, I'd say.
So obviously, speaking of this fellow wearing that jersey this year, top 14 started a couple of weeks ago. I think there's going to be more English fans than ever with one eye over there with the likes of, like we said, Faz, Arundel, Knowlesy, and then boys playing in the second division. Any interesting bits so far? Have you had any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I've watched quite a bit, to be fair. Like you said, it's got a real interest. There's a lot more people to look out for now, isn't there? Our mate from last year, Will Collier's going well at Cast. They are your classic French side. They'll win their games at home. They're really hard to go and play at home. Massively passionate. He talks a lot about how passionate the town is.
I love that classic French side. So don't travel well. Don't travel well. Not on a Thursday night. You want to get into them early, the French, don't you?
For us last year, we went to Racing last year and in Europe, and that was one of the best rugby experiences to go away, playing their amazing stadium. But yes, every team is absolutely stacked over there. We beat them, yeah, just about. So
we got them again this year, haven't we? Yeah. December. You know, have you been to their arena?
It's the coolest rugby stadium, yeah.
Coolest places.
You don't get to play there in the Champions Challenge Cup.
Okay, yeah. Which annoyingly we're not playing there this year because it's been used. Yeah, because they used it it was the swimming pool during the Olympics. You know when you saw
they built the swimming pool.
They did. They released the footage, didn't they, of it being done in about 20 seconds.
A little bit of a spoiler alert here on Hits Different. We are going to be doing a bit of a Brits Abroad feature where we're going to be catching up with the likes of Manu, Faz, Knowlesy, and all the other boys, and just trying to see what life is like out in France. Joe, have you ever had any offers to go to France? Would you maybe like to do it at some point in your career? You've still got years ahead of you, mate.
Yeah, we obviously spoke quite heavily about my time finishing at Wasps, and thrown into the mix during that was an offer to go and play out in France, and it was a
big one. It was a big one, yeah.
The shirt could potentially be in the room, but might not be. But
okay, there's one French shirt in the room.
That'll narrow it down.
And it's a Racing 92 one.
And it was obviously, again, as an experience for us as a family, would have been unbelievable to go and try a different culture. And I've got a huge soft spot, I guess, for French rugby and the way the league is. And for me, being a tight 5 forward, the challenge to go and play in a league like that, where you unfortunately gave my weight earlier. That weight doesn't even cut anywhere amongst those guys. They are big, big humans. So.
Do you not be concerned about? Were you ever like Parisian stools? You know, for drinking coffee. I would see you in the south of France.
I need one of these. I'll take this with me, I reckon.
Just concerned about you drinking delicate coffees and.
You'd need 3 stools.
I'd be more worried about the baguettes, I think, than the stools. I could always, whenever we go and play in France, you seem to eat a few baguettes.
Reverse the question. Ask him. Have you ever had a?
Yeah, have you?
It's been a number of them.
No, to be fair, the closest I ever had was this season.
Really?
To be there in France this season potentially. I spoke to 2 clubs and we had a couple of Zoom meetings and it was all quite serious. And then the French way of doing business was a little bit more relaxed than I potentially needed after spending my life savings on doing a house up, so I needed a little bit more security for me and the family and couldn't wait any longer. But yeah, we were generally thinking about it, as Joe said, as something a bit different for the family to experience, and it's a selfish decision. I would have done it probably years ago, but when you've got other people to put first, you kind of have to take stuff.
I asked to get out one year,
Right.
to go to Bordeaux, and a very, very didn't go to agents to go and kick off like that. I went straight to the top to Humph at the time, sat down one-on-one and said, would this be a possibility? I understood my situation. You don't get those, for someone like me, you wouldn't have got that. It was mid-season one, I was still in 18 months of contract, so it was up to him. And he was very, very good, and he said, the situation for us is that we can't let you go, but come the end of the year, if it's still an option, we can have a chat. And obviously, they would have signed someone good by then. So, so I think they'd have gone for a Kiwi or an Aussie by that point.
What was cool is talking about Will Collier. We saw a picture of him and Kyle Sinclair, 2 both tight head props through the academy at Quins, both plying their trade now for Cast and Toulon in France. So, Brits abroad, we will keep in touch with all those and keep you updated. URC lads. This weekend, not just the Premiership starting, the URC starting again. Glasgow, obviously with a surprise package last year, defied all the odds, beat all the best teams on their way to the final and had to travel to South Africa and Ireland and everywhere on the way to doing it. Can they do it again?
In a quick answer, yes, they can do it again, but they obviously got a fully, almost a stacked Scottish team, really. We played them in Europe and ridiculously hard game. But yeah, you would look potentially to someone like Leinster really coming through and being strong, and I mean, you look at some of the South African teams on paper. I mean, the business that the Sharks have done, for instance, this summer, guys like Andre going back.
Yeah.
They are going to be they're going to be a force, so they can get it right.
Yeah, I think I will be supporting Glasgow. My mate Adam Hastings back up there. He's a good addition for them, but it's seeing past those stuff is hard work, isn't it? Anywhere he goes, Andre still have nightmares about him. Anywhere he goes is going to add to any team, isn't he? So, but yeah, a tight league, like you said. Leinster got some big signings coming in as well, so that'll be exciting to see. We'll have to keep an eye on it, won't we?
Geordie Barrett and RG Snyman both signing for Leinster.
You see the bit for Slimani in the week. I enjoyed that. He thought he was signed for Leicester, not Leinster. Although it's probably not the worst thing to get wrong.
But if Leinster don't win the URC, this needs some serious questions about that, because it's basically the Ireland team plus Geordie Barrett and RG Snyman now, and Slimani.
That's the Premiership salary cap gone there, isn't it?
And double the cap. So good luck, Leinster.
But we're not bitter.
Nah, not bitter at all. Right, boys. Reputations on the line. Predictions for the season ahead. First off, close to home, Gallagher Premiership. We're going to pick our semi-finalists. So I need 4 teams, and I'm going to ask you for a winner as well.
Bath Saints, Sale, and I feel very, very pressurised into saying
No,
we're going to have a lot of Quins boys on, aren't we?
No pressure. There is no Quins bias here.
And one of Quins or Exeter.
No Sarries, no?
Nah, no, let's hope not. No Sarries. Oh, Sarries will be there, won't they? I'll put Sarries at 4th. I've forgotten about them then. They'll get there and then they'll win it somehow.
Quins off, go Sarries.
Yeah.
Launch?
Similar. I think it was the finalists from last year. Thought they were probably the 2 standout teams. So Bath and Northampton back in again. I do think Sarries will be in. I think the bounce back will be. I reckon they're going to be. When you change people like that, I feel like it can be a bit of a breath of fresh air as well. A real change of environment. I think they'll be really, really strong. They've still got an unbelievable team, and I back us as well. Back us to get in there, in the top 4. Obviously disappointing end to the season last year, but feel like we, this year we'll sneak in, and then. Yeah, back us to go on and win it. I think you got to be. That's why we're all doing it, isn't it? Really. So, like I said earlier, it's kind of the reason why I'm playing in England. So if I'm not backing us to do it, then no one is.
I'd completely forgotten you'd not won a Premiership.
2 finals.
You were so close, weren't you, that year?
We lost 2. One in COVID, and then one a few years before.
That one line out.
One line out.
Was it the rainy
The
final?
rainy one was the COVID one. That was the line out.
And that one penalty.
Penalty in the 80th minute. Yeah, still haunts me now. But yeah.
So you're 0 from 2.
0 from 2. Yeah, thanks for reminding.
I'm 2 from 2. So,
that's the difference, isn't it?
That's the difference.
So what you're saying, if we make the final this year, it's guaranteed.
Oh, guaranteed. 3 from 3. Yeah. Do I need? I don't need to do a prediction, do I? We're fine. I'll just sit on the fence. No, you want me to do a prediction? Okay, cool. I think Bath will be in the semi-finals. I think Northampton will be there or thereabouts again. I'm backing Harlequins to be there last year for a few players. And I agree with you. I think Saracens. I've always picked the same 4 as you.
Picked them, yeah. You
Sale. I think.
Are you at Sale?
I think Sale will be really strong.
I think Sale will be brilliant.
One team I'm slightly worried about, the dark horses this year, is Michael Checker's Leicester. I think he's going to whip them into shape, and they could surprise a few people this year.
I would asterisk this by saying pretty much anyone in the league could make the top 4. Yeah. But that is my prediction today. But
that's why the league is so good.
Anyone could get in the top 4.
I can't go into work tomorrow without saying Gloucester. You know, if Thomason, Gareth, Wadey, there's a lot of excitement around the place.
Yeah. You've already made yours. So.
I'm going to say, like you just said, like an asterisk next to it. we are quietly excited. That's what I like to say.
Funny you didn't mention it at all.
We are quietly excited.
Really,
do you know what?
really
normally come out saying we're going to be there and underachieve, so we're going to go the opposite this year.
Go for it.
And just say we're just going to simmer down here and just quietly bubble away. That's the plan.
Nice.
Quietly.
Okay, 2-word answers, lads. Top 14 and URC winners straight away.
La Rochelle, Glasgow.
Nice, back to back. Glasgow, I like it.
Toulouse, Leinster.
Nice. I'm going to go Toulouse. The Pont's just too good.
Joke.
And I'm going to go with the Stormers to win the URC. Let's find out who Finn Russell's picks are, starting with the Gallagher semi-finals.
I think Exeter will be up there. Exeter, Sale.
And obviously Quins and Gloucester, yeah, that's what you're about to say, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was thinking Quins or Saracens, that's what I was thinking there. I think, I might be Northampton. I might be surprised if they're there as well. But there's so many teams that could make it. I think it's going to be tough after them winning last year, losing a few boys to kind of back it up. I think that's always a challenge. Even us getting to the final, there's going to be a bit of an expectation to get back there, but also teams playing against us will be like, right, we know what they can do now. We need to be better, you know. And I think it's maybe the teams that were potentially middle to lower down on the table that have got a chance, like they can get up higher than they potentially did last year. They can catch teams off guard, you know. So I think that's something for us. The mindset, the mentality for the whole season has got to be there. But I don't know. It's so close. Like you could pick 4 teams out, and none of them could get the top 4 this year. You know, like last year, so many teams could get it. There's only 2 qualified before before the last game, so you never know.
Could you pick us a winner of top 14 and the URC this year?
I think La Rochelle will win it this year.
Nice.
I think they're always there or thereabouts. They should have won it maybe 2 years ago. Toulouse, they could always go back to back, so they'll be up there. I think La Rochelle. I think they're due a top 14 title, but in the URC, I think the Stormers could win it this year. They're always up there, so I think they could do it this year.
Now, it has been an incredibly exciting time, and we have been beavering away, and so many people behind the scenes have done such an unbelievable job of getting Hits Different off the ground. And the last few weeks we've been incredibly excited about putting the show together, and I know you have as well. But unfortunately, something happened in your life over the last few weeks which you could never have ever thought would happen. Could you just explain to us
Yeah, I
what
almost
happened?
ruined the launch, didn't I?
Nearly ruined
essentially,
the launch, yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, I don't know if I want to say stupidly, but I agreed to do the Cheltenham half marathon, thinking anyone can get through a half marathon, can't they? Fit, you can get into the well, you can go and have a plod there. We're doing it for Ed, obviously for Ed Slater for the foundation. And I'd done enough. I thought I was trained to the max, but my knee wouldn't allow me to do that much, etc. So was on the run. Got to hot day. I'll carry out the story saying hot day, very muggy centre of Cheltenham. I was about 10 miles in, and essentially I've collapsed, not knowing anything, collapsed, and really long story because it's been the last few weeks. But I was taken to Gloucester and spent the next week in the ICU. So I was put into a coma for the first 36 hours of the week. My core temperature got to 44 degrees, and they were genuinely concerned. I mean, I've not had to deal with as much of it because I was probably out of it for the first few days of the week. Lids, my wife, obviously she went through hell, close family, and it seems to have affected a lot of people around us. And I think it's been a really scary situation. I think in rugby and sport, obviously we put our guards up and naturally laugh about things, but I think it was probably either Wednesday, Thursday of that week where I've had 4 or 5 days of starting to process the situation, and the consultant speaking to me a lot, still in ICU at that point, and they were talking about being over the hill on a liver transplant, and I was like, this is real. I mean, the other thing was like being in ICU surrounded by people who they're at death's door, and I was like, I don't really know why I've been put in here. At that point, I was like, I can't understand it, and it was obviously, I was at that stage, so feel incredibly lucky. The consultant that was working on the day, he had 2 people the previous year who had the same case, very similar scenario. Unfortunately, those 2 lads, he dealt with, the hospital hadn't seen it that much. They dealt with them in a different way, and those 2 lads had 8 to 9 weeks in a coma and getting treatment in hospital for 8 to 9 weeks. So I just had these special people who dealt with me so fast, got my core temperature down over the first few days, using all sorts of methods, basically tossed me into an ice bath whilst I was in this coma and left me there for. So off the cuff, they were incredible, and then the nurses, these angels that were working day and night to make, well, to keep you alive essentially. They're just special people, and I think if I've ever taken it for granted or just expect it to be there, I think 3 weeks ago has changed my mindset and all that. So almost ruined the launch of the show, but very grateful to be sat here today, and it's been a strange time for me and the family.
I can't imagine what you and your family and friends have had to go through. To think that 2 weeks ago you were literally in a coma and you're now here on the sofa and you look great.
A lot of makeup behind the scenes, but they did say, they're like, nobody really walks out of the ICU. I've had a lot of rest, and very grateful, like I said, grateful to Lids and people at home who've kept everything going. Got back from there, got back from the ICU. Sydney, our 3-year-old, just ran straight past me. Didn't realise I'd been gone. So that really humbles you and brings you back down to earth, doesn't it? So I was thinking like, she's going to know. She's going to be really excited that I've been gone for ages. Not a clue. Didn't even. So very humbling experience.
How are you feeling now? Are you feeling?
This last week I've started to get out and about and sort of built up from literally going to meet a friend for coffee Tuesday. From that to today, I'm starting to get there. Starting to get energy back and feel there, but had some tests last Friday just gone, and my liver's still not there, but it's on its way. So yeah, positive signs.
Inspiring, mate. It's inspiring stuff. We're so glad to see you happy and healthy. And any more plans of marathons in the future?
Lids did say she don't. That's it. Rugby was retired in January. You are retired from anything now. So golf. What do I say? Golf and paddle.
I'm sure you didn't put that much of a fight though. I'm sure.
She's a smart girl, mate. I think you should heed that advice. Next up, more of our chat with Finn Russell.
Firstly, why? I mean, I can see it now. I've retired. Why does everyone hate the English so much? And what is it about you and those Calcutta Cup games that really sort of brings out the best in you? What is it? Because it's been. No, it's not a one-off, is it? It's been a number of games where we've seen this now.
Yeah, I think. Well, for a Scotsman, those games are always massive. I don't know what it's like from your boys' kind of perspective as an English person, like what it's like to play against Scotland, if it's the same kind of rivalry or if it's different, I don't know. But I think because we're almost like the smaller country, we're always trying to get up to the level of you boys, you know. I feel that over time it was kind of a much bigger game for us than it was for English boys. Over the last few years, we've won those games, but when it comes to the table at the end of the tournament, we're always kind of the same position as England most of the time now, either above or below you, but it's not you boys being top and us being the bottom. So I think it was probably more even like that, but we've just had the rub of the green in terms of the Calcutta Cup games. But it's probably, I don't know, I think we view it as still a big game, but I think we've tended to become a bit more professional around it and not just had that as the sole game that we have to win in the Six Nations. So it's probably been, I suppose, the last couple of games we've beaten England, it's not been like a brilliant performance, but we've just somehow managed to find a way to win. And I think, well, part of that's due to Duan, isn't it? He scored a hat-trick last game and then scored one try that kind of sparked it all the year before that. So, but I think, I love these big games.
This father that's made you too humble. I reckon a couple of years ago you were saying this is all due to me. Now it's due.
Yeah, but I think everyone knows that already, so there's no point in you saying it. So.
2 kids, honestly. He's become such a nice guy.
Take the credit, Finn. Take the credit. It's all you, mate. Finn, quickly, a couple of ones. What is your favourite sport outside of rugby? Where do you go to switch off or where get away from sport? Rugby, sorry.
To be honest, when I was in Paris, I didn't play that much sport outside of rugby because I like golf. I think golf's one of the ones that a lot of boys play, isn't it? It's not too hard on the body. You can get out for a few hours if it's nice weather and hit a ball and stuff. So I like playing golf. I played more of it here in Bath and this summer than I did the whole time in Paris, kind of thing. Before I tended to play a lot of PlayStation. When I was in Paris, living on my own, played a lot of PlayStation. But now being back here with kids, I don't think the PlayStation's been open for about 6 months.
Speaking of Bath, you obviously got so close to lifting the trophy last season. What do you need to do this year to go that 5 minutes further and actually, try and win it this year?
I think it's one of my first season last year, so again, I've not been at the club for that long, but I think we just need to, it's easy to say, continue the way that we were going. I think that final, even though we lost, I think we can take a lot of confidence and belief from that. Being down to 14 men and potentially we should have won that game, but it was always going to be against it when we went down. I think you're just treating every game, I think we will do this anyway, but treating every game as we did last year, like not getting too ahead of ourselves if we win a couple games or if we not getting too down if we lose one. Everyone sort of says you're never as good as you think and is never as bad as what people say or something like that. It's never as good as people say and as bad as you think, whatever it is. And that's something Johan's quite good at. He kind of keeps it quite level the whole season round. There has been a lot of changes in the league this year. I think boys leaving to go and mainly go and play in France. Saracens and Northampton, I'm thinking of. There'll be a few teams looking to come through, have recruited well. So yes, I don't know. I think we just need to focus on the next I think 6 games before November series, and then we'll see where we are. We'll reassess when we get there. But as you boys know, getting to the top 4 is what you've got to do first and foremost, and then take it after that. So we can't look too far ahead and think about winning yet. We've got to just, I suppose, focus on the next sort of block of games, and then we'll see from there how we are.
Like we said, mate, very early in the season. It's a long old year, but there's a little summer tour of the Lions next season. How much of that is something that's in Finn Russell's goals, or do you not think that far ahead? I'm guessing maybe that.
Yeah, I think you know what's coming at the end of the year, obviously. But there's a lot of things that you've got to do before the end of the season. You know, before Andy Farrell, you know, he makes a team, he picks a team, and you can actually burn a lot of energy overthinking it and putting pressure on yourself getting there. I think for me, it's out with my control whether he picks me or not in the squad. You know, it's out with anyone's control. All that I can do and we can do as players is just try and do our job the best that we can. You know, and that's probably week to week at club, and then international stuff. You know, if you start overthinking, expecting to go or looking too far into it, then that's when you're potentially going to make mistakes in the games. You're going to either go into your shell or you're going to try and force things to get picked. I've seen it before in players. A guy that I used to play with, he did that one season. He started trying all these different things that he'd never done before, and he had a really poor season. Actually, was building up to. He never went in the Lions, but building up to it. And I think the pressure from him thinking he had to go, that kind of had an effect on him. So for me, it's kind of just sticking to what I did last year, what I've done the last 10 years, kind of thing, and taking each game as it comes. If I'm doing the job at Bath, and then if I go to Scotland and do the job there, then it's out with my control who Andy picks. So. I'm not going to put pressure on myself to get there. I'd love to get there, but I'm not going to put pressure on myself every week to get there. It's not my choice.
It's great advice, mate. It's great advice. Finn, we've got 5 quick-fire questions. We just want one-word answers before we let you get back to your daughter and your Nandos, more importantly.
Yeah.
So just answer quick-fire, mate, whatever you want. Post-match meal, what do you go for?
Beer.
Nice. Yeah. Good answer. Least favourite...
I don't eat after the games because usually I've had a few beers in the changing rooms and I don't get hungry after it. So
yeah, I like your style. Least favourite part of training?
Gym.
Yeah, agreed. Best place on earth?
Best place on earth? Let's just say Saint-Tropez.
Yeah.
It's the old Finn that coming back out, isn't it?
I know.
There we go. It's good practice. If you could change any part of your body, what would it be?
Change it in what way do you mean?
Well, however you want. You could be smaller, it could be bigger.
In the midsection.
You'd like right? Okay, yeah.
Less fatter in the midsection, yeah.
Take that.
I could probably do that myself if I just changed my diet and have less beer after the game, but
yeah, but then you wouldn't be you. So
exactly, it's padding. It's built for purpose. It's not for the looks. It's padding. It's protection.
Exactly, mate. And last one, mate. What's the best biscuit known to man?
I was chatting the other day to someone about this, and I think I've not had them in ages, but I'd potentially go a chocolate hobnob. I think a bit better than a digestive, chocolate digestive. So
it's good.
Random, I know, but yeah,
it's
exactly.
Good dunker, chocolate.
You can't go wrong with it.
It's got endurance. Finn, mate, thank you very much for joining us on Hits Different. You've been quality, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Just finishing that off there. So
look at him. He can do it. He can do it all, can't he?
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, the next part of the show is the most exciting quiz on YouTube. We couldn't afford Flats' fees, so let me introduce Paul Bunker, aka David Flatman, impressionist.
Flatman, Phil Mitchell.
Thank you.
Anything else? Put it in the comments with who you think.
Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah.
I'll take all of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Flats won't be watching anyway, will he? There's no chance Flats is watching.
You look great. Anyway.
Thank you very much. Very kind.
So, viewers enter the chance of winning a little bit of stash, which we've got. Have we got a little stash bin? Look at this stash bin. Oh, I hear the audience say, oh, yeah. there's 3 lucky viewers that have entered the competition that we are going to be representing one of them each in the quiz. And I'm going to be representing Harry Haynes. So Hazza, we got this. Aki?
Archie Wilde.
And Jennifer Bartlett.
Jenny, come on, Jen.
Here we go. Right, so Bugs, let's do this.
Rules are really simple. 10 questions. When you know the answer, you shout the answer. If you go wrong, we can opt back. I'll go reset and we're back in again, okay? I'll do it again, okay? 10 questions is multi-sport. Let's see, we go. Eyes down, we ready, referee? Okay, here we go. Question number 1, rugby union. Which player made the most tackles in last year's Premiership? Correct.
Good tackler. He's a good tackler.
Sports movies. What sport is played in the film Foxcatcher?
American football. Wrestling.
You're not back in. He hasn't had an answer. You've had an answer.
Baseball.
Launchers. What did he say?
With wrestling.
Yeah. Well done. You can have that. Yeah.
What an answer.
Football. How many English managers have won the Premier League?
Oh, that's a good question. English manager. None.
He's in there. Who does Anthony Joshua fight this weekend?
Daniel Dubois.
Correct.
Second time, yeah. He said it second time, yeah. So that's
Only
fine.
because I was talking.
First one was
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've sold out Wembley.
3-1-0.
90,000. They've sold it
Okay.
out. It's incredible.
Cricket.
Oh, Joe.
Eyes down. Cricket. Who holds the record for the highest individual score in Test cricket?
Brian Lara.
Correct. How many?
442.
It says 400 not out here, but I think you can have a point
400
for that.
plus, yeah.
Nice, Aki.
Okay, darts. How old was Luke Littler when
16.
he won?
Oh, good.
They both guessed. How old was Luke Littler when he won this year's Premier League darts?
Did they get it right?
No.
Oh, okay. 17?
Correct. What year was Rory McIlroy's last major championship victory?
12.
No.
It's been a while, Joe.
I'll say 2018.
Incorrect.
I'm going to go 2014.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Correct. He's got it right. Everything he touched turns to gold.
Just remind everyone, this is a quick fire quiz, though, yeah? I'm firing answers out there, giving you indicators as to where it is.
You're firing answers,
And I go
Mark.
like,
They're just
right.
not the right ones.
No, but then you go, right, Aki knows about sport. It must
Well,
be
that's
around that
part of the
answer.
game, isn't it? Harry, you're welcome, buddy.
Look, it's some miracle turnaround here. It's going to take miracle turnaround. Rugby League, name the only non-English side in this
Catalan
season.
Dragon.
Correct. He's too good. He's too good.
Remember that really cool show, Question of Sport?
Yeah.
Come at me.
NFL. Which team is Louis Rees-Zammit now signed for?
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Correct.
I'm done now. He's bought. He's won it, hasn't he? Retiring from the quiz.
You've got to let him win on his own show.
Okay. Is it charity? Let him have it. Okay, tennis. So Nicholas Mahut and John Eisner recorded the longest tennis match in history at Wimbledon in 2010. How many games were played in total during the final set? The closest answer wins the point.
How many games were played in total?
In the final set, my advice is go large.
46.
Higher than that, I reckon. 58.
Higher.
46.
No.
Well, obviously, what happens? Same as the rest of the quiz.
That is mental
No.
from you.
Right, same as the rest of the quiz launches. We're going to answer
the question and you're going to help.
Absolutely.
Sorry, because obviously if I say higher than that, let's just
What's
go
going to happen is we're going to answer the question, and Dees is going to get an idea.
You're the
is-
bloke copping.
I'm 65.
Clearly, mine and his isn't right, so you just pick one.
Well,
Now
let's
you
go
win.
between those two to give them one of them in second place. Let's be nice. We're a nice show here on It's Different, aren't we?
Yeah. We're charitable.
We do hit different, but
Yeah, good. I don't want charity.
it's a good show. So who's closest out of these two idiots?
This one.
Joe.
Good.
Yeah, well done, Jeff.
Well done, Joe, yeah.
Worst quick
Well
fire
done.
quiz ever.
Let's not be patronising.
Your only right answer was wrestling, which I gave you.
Yeah, that is true, actually. The bat. I'm not here for the quiz though, was I?
Yeah.
No one told me the quiz. You've
Yeah.
been prepping for weeks, you two.
I had the answer.
Oh, John Parrott.
That was a
over
good quiz, that. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, I represented Harry Haynes. So Harry Haynes is the winner. Well done, Harry.
Ooh.
Hang on.
England shirt. What game, Dees?
What's it say?
Danny Kerr, England versus Wales.
Oh, 2017. Wow, is it a bench shirt or is it starting? Probably a
What do you
bench
reckon?
one.
I reckon.
If you put it into a giveaway,
shirt.
that's,
Yeah, it's a bench shirt.
it's a bench shirt. If it's a giveaway.
I spent a lot of time on that bench. Yeah, nice shirt. Good game, that. I don't remember it at all. But Harry, that shirt is coming to you, and we can write whatever you want on that. We can all sign it, or we can personalise it, whatever you want, mate. Get in touch, and we can send that over to you.
Also,
Well done,
apologise.
Harry.
I feel like I owe an apology to Archie and
Yeah, sorry, Jennifer.
Jennifer. Yeah, really sorry about that.
But we're nice here, aren't we, on Hits Different? We're going to roll a competition out every single week. There's going to be opportunities for you to win your own shirt or Aki's jockstrap or whatever you want to get your hands on. So follow the socials for Hits Different on Hits Different YouTube and get involved next week. And finally, before we wrap up our first episode, we have got our first edition of Grassroots Gold. And this is gold, right? When you see this clip features St Clears, who are a score down and on the attack in the final play of the game, and this happened. Lads, feast your eyes on this. So it's unbelievable play from their own 22. Great rugby, attacking, free-flowing rugby. It's like watching Harlequins, isn't it? Speed down the wing, the 15.
The cameraman's lost.
He's in. He's scoring the try. And he's done the...
Oh, good. Oh. I just scored a try.
We need to get him on, don't we?
Yeah,
Might need a phone
we might
call
have
with
to
him.
put a little phone call out to St Clears number 15 to ask,
Thinking
what were
that,
you thinking?
What was the?
God, if anyone did that in our team.
What do you reckon he was drinking on the bus back there? What's your
that's a
at
big
that
fine.
level? What's your fine?
I think that's
Water at the front. No, he's not having any fun.
Oh, really? Just
Yeah.
punish
Would you punish him the other way?
Yeah, no fun.
You wouldn't go like
Got to
dirty
fit the
pint.
front. I reckon the opposite. He can't even enjoy it.
So, Joe, you would go full... This is what you do as a Wasp captain. You wouldn't look at him in the face.
I'll be fuming. You'd be angry at that, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'd be livid with him.
What do you reckon by bringing him in to drink? You're like.
Almost like accepting him back
banter.
in. You need
Yeah.
24-hour call-off period, and then
I just think at that level they're not going to that.
no,
I
they're
reckon
not. Oh, no, they go more your
more
angle.
likely. He's doing
Definitely go more your angle.
I think
yeah.
there's stuff going up places and
Yeah,
things being
it's-
set on fire, if I'm honest.
and deservedly so by that.
Lads, you ever been involved in anything as bad as that or an error as big as that in a big game? Or have you done anything? I've done a fair few stupid things in my time on a rugby pitch. Cost my team many games, but
You know, you do live on the edge, and a lot of it comes off of you. Who is the coach who would hammer you the most for going for the that sort of thing, or?
it's more the lads I think that would hammer me the most. It's this, you know, not if you players could be angry at you. It's when they're disappointed. But still, I had Martin Johnson really disappointed in me one time when
As a player or a coach?
he was a
though?
coach, and I got
Right.
sin binned coming on for England against Ireland within 3 minutes of me being on. My first act was to shoulder barge a prop in the back off the ball, which made me even look weedy on the replay. It was that cringy.
Just a
And Jono, well, you know when Jono did the slam of the fist down on the table?
laptop goes
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. That
was you, was
famous
it?
moment was me. That was me.
Brilliant.
Unfortunately, that's it
Week
for our
one.
first episode of Hits Different.
And
Did
what a
you
man
enjoy
to
it?
have on.
Oh.
What a man.
Did you enjoy it, Joe?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been good fun. Looking forward to you guys going to a different level. Keep going, and all the guests will keep improving as well, I'm sure. But no, I really enjoyed it.
Will you be back? Will you be back?
Yeah.
Oh, I could maybe drop some kit into the stash box, maybe. That'd be,
Lovely. That's a
drop
nice
an
feature.
oversized pair of shorts, I think.
Yes, please.
Who is getting them? Poor Jennifer if she gets them, honestly.
Poor Jennifer. No, she could use it as a hammock.
Curtains or something, yeah.
Curtains, yeah. Joe, thank you very much for joining us on Hits Different. Give him a round of applause. Brilliant. And for Finn Russell as well, thank you for your time, mate. You're an absolute legend. Best of luck with this season. Big year for Finn and the boys. Aki, who have we got on next week?
Really exciting show, Dees. I'm going to have to stop myself from fanboying too much, but
Oh, you're a
Peter
big fan.
Dale,
You're a big fan.
Peter Dale, aka Tubes. Is he going to be all right with that when we just
Tubes
do
is going to be
Tubes?
absolutely fine with that.
So that's going to be a bit of fun, and also heading to see one of our friends in the top 14. So catch up with someone flying high.
Watch this space on Hits Different. Thanks for watching.